Hello, everybody. In today's lesson, 7.8, we're on page 373 of the second grade Go Math textbook. And our topic today is telling time to the hour and half hour. Okay, so we have 4 clock faces. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and do this part with you today. And usually we say, I'll tell you to pause the video and do the work on your own. But I want to make sure we understand the different parts of the clock first. Okay, so for this first clock, I want you to begin with 3 o'clock. Okay, so 3 o'clock. Where would 3 o'clock be? So we know that the hour hand is the shorter of the hands. Okay, so I want to make sure it's pointing right at the 3 if it's 3 o'clock. Okay, I'm going to put it right there. Okay, and then 3 o'clock means that the minute hand is pointing directly at the 12. Okay, so that's 3 o'clock. Now, I'm going to use a different color, and I want you to draw the time to the half an hour past. So a half an hour past 3 o'clock. So what that means is that the minute hand, the longer hand, has gone 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay? Halfway around the clock. And you notice what's going to happen to the 3 as we do it. Here I have a mini clock here. And let me go ahead and put it at 3 o'clock. All right. So there's our 3 o'clock, right? So we have that model. And then half past 3. So as the minute hand goes, look, keep your eye on the red hour hand as the minute hand moves. You notice the hour hand is slowly moving towards the 4. Okay. And then when we get to 3:30, the hour hand is exactly in between the 3 and the 4. So it's halfway to 4, halfway past 3. So when we say half past an hour, this is what we mean. The minute hand is pointing at the 6, and the hour hand has moved halfway from where it started at the hour. Okay, so I want to make sure we can see this. So let me try it with red. Okay, so 3:30. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. So kind of right in between, right? They have 5 marks here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I'm going to go kind of 2.5. I'm going to turn my paper a little sideways. And the hour hand is the shorthand, right? Okay, so half past, that means the hour hand is pointing directly at the 6. Okay, so 3:30. All right, now let's do 5 o'clock, and then we're going to draw half past 5 o'clock. So 5 o'clock, we know the minute hand's got to be pointing at the 12 if it's 5 o'clock. Okay, so I'm going to draw a little arrow. Okay, and 5, so make sure you're lined up with the 5. And let's draw a little line to the inside dotted circle. Okay, so 5 o'clock. Now, what would half past 5 look like? So again, let's look at our mini clock. Okay. Okay, so the type of clocks we're dealing with are known as analog clocks. Okay. And so here we have it pointing at 5, right? And we want half past. That means we want the minute hand pointing at the 6, right? Again, notice what's happening to the red hour hand as we move. As we move, the hour hand slowly moving towards the 6. So half past 5 puts the 5 in between the 5 and the 6. And the minute hand is pointing at 30 minutes past the hour. Because remember, there's 60 minutes in an hour, right? So half past, that means we've gone 30 minutes towards the next hour. All right, so with our different color, I'm going to draw the minute hand pointing at the 6. And the hour hand is going to be in between the 5 and the 6. Okay, just like that. So we call this 5:30. And on this clock, we call that 3:30. Okay. So the red is 3. The black is on the hour. So 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Okay, now how about 11 o'clock? Try that. Try finding 11 o'clock. Okay, again, if you say 11 o'clock, you know the minute hand is pointing at the 12. Okay. And if it's 11 o'clock, that means the hour hand is pointing at the 11. Okay, so that's 11 o'clock. So what would it look like if we went to 11, if we went half past 11? So we're at 11, half past, the minute hand has to point at the 6. So we're at 11:30. Okay, so let's draw that in with a different color, 11:30. So the minute hand now has gone halfway around the clock and is pointing at the 6. The hour hand is now halfway between 11 and 12. Whoops. Okay. Okay, so we're at 11:30. We started at 11. Okay, and last one. Let's do 8 o'clock. Okay, 8 o'clock. So again, you know that is pointing at the 12 for the minute hand. The hour hand is pointing at the 8. It's not as long as the minute hand, so don't draw it all the way to the 8. Okay, the hour hand is shorter than the minute hand. Okay, so let's go ahead and write in 8. Now let's go half past 8. So if it's half past 8, the minute hand is going to be pointing at the 6. The hour hand will move halfway between 8 and 9. Sorry about that. I don't know what I was thinking. I connected the line all the way. Okay, remember the hour hand, we're using the inside circle here. It's shorter than the minute hand. I don't know why I drew it all the way across. Okay, so 8:30. So what do we notice? On the hour is the number and 2 zeros. Half past always ends in 30. So 30 minutes past the hour is half past the hour. All right, let's look at page 374. All right, well, it takes 5 minutes for the minute hand to move from one number to the next number on a clock face. So from here to here, it takes 5 minutes. Remember I said there's, when we were counting, there was 5 marks in between, or from one number to the next number. That's because there's 5 minutes in between each number. Okay, so the clock hands on these clocks show 4 and 4:30. All right. So on a digital clock, it would just look like this. 4. 4:30 would just look like this. And obviously that's very easy to read. Okay. But we need to be able to tell on a regular clock too. Okay, so the 30 tells you that the time is 30 minutes after the hour, as we talked about. So let's look at number 1. Look at the clock hands and write the time. So the hour hand is pointing at the 1. The minute hand is pointing at the 12. So it's 1 o'clock. Okay. Number 2, the minute hand is pointing at the 6. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Right? Each number is worth 5 minutes. 30 minutes. The hour hand has passed the 8, hasn't reached the 9. So it's on its way to 9 o'clock. It hasn't got there yet. So it's half past 8. So 8:30. Number 3. Again, the minute hand's pointing at the 6. So we know it's something 30. It's half past something. Well, it's past the 3, hasn't reached the 4, right? If you extended the hour hand out, it wouldn't reach the 4. But it's also not pointing directly at the 3 anymore. It's halfway between, so it's 3:30. Let's look at 375. Look at the clock hands and write the time. We're 30 minutes past the hour, and it's in between 9 and 10. So 9:30. Halfway past 9. 30 minutes past the hour. It's in between 12 and 1, so it's 12:30. Here, the minute hand's pointing at the 12. So that's something o'clock. 0. Okay. The hour hand's pointing right at the 6. So it's 6 o'clock. So don't get confused and call this 12:30. It couldn't be 12:30. Okay. Why? Well, if it was 12:30, the hand would be between the 12 and the 1. Here it's straight up and down. It has to be 6 o'clock. Okay, number 7. Okay, so it's minute hand's pointing at the 12. The hour hand's pointing directly at the 4. 4 o'clock. Here, the hour hand is in between 11 and 12. So it's 11:30. Here, it's in between. The hour hand is in between the 5 and the 6. The minute hand's pointing at the 6. So we're half past 5, or 30 minutes past 5. Okay, number 10. Look at the time and draw the hour hand and the minute hand to show the same time. 7:30. So you know that the hour hand, minute hand, has to be pointing at the 6. If it's 7:30, it's on its way to 8. So it's halfway between 7 and 8. 7:30. 2 o'clock. Minute hand has to be pointing at the 12. And the hour hand has to be pointing directly at the 2. And 11 o'clock. Okay, minute hand has to be pointing at the 12. And the hour hand will be pointing at the 11. 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 7:30. And page 376. All right, number 11. Holly eats lunch when the hour hand points halfway between 11 and 12. And the minute hand points to the 6. When does Allie eat lunch? Show the time on both clocks. Okay, so if the clue here, the minute hand points to the 6. All right, so let's draw that in. Minute hand is the longer of the two hands, and the directions say it's pointing at the 6. So that's halfway past something. It's between 11 and 12. Okay, so it's 11:30. Okay, so it's past 11, hasn't gotten to 12, it's gone halfway around. If it goes another 30 minutes, we'll be at 12. So how do you know what time to write in the digital clock? So the digital clock is 11:30. The minute hand points at the 6, right? The minute hand points at the 6, which means half past an hour or 30 minutes after the hour. The hour hand is between 11 and 12. So the hour had to be 11. So if the hour hand has not reached the 12, you cannot say it's 12. It has to be the smaller hour. So 11:30. And finally, number 12. Match the clocks that show the same time. So 8 o'clock, that's probably the easiest one. That means the minute hand has to be pointing at the 12. Well, nothing's pointing at the 12 here. This one has something pointing at the 12. Nothing's pointing at the 12 here. So it's got to be this one, right? So, all right. Now this one is half past, and so is this one. So those are both going to end in 30. Now this one is in between 9 and 10. So it has to be 9. So 9:30. So if that one's 9:30, then this one, which is between 7 and 8 hours, is 7:30. Okay. All right, so that's it for our first lesson on telling time. And remember, we're working to the hour and the half hour. So until our next lesson, I will see you soon.